Over X-ray, this is Silver 1. Got elements of Bravo team.
Comms relay went down in some nowhere, so no combat. It's bullshit.
But if you're sending Cobalt to another comms array, you better tell them to respect the Covenant. Excuse me.
You've got to stop pushing her. We've been out here all night training. Why?
Because they're training. I told you what I saw on Sanctuary. Our enemy is out there. They're getting close.
You heard it up top. We are taking a trip to that devious ring once more. We're headed out to outer space to talk Halo Season 2, the Paramount Plus original, here on Normies Like Us with your hosts, Colin ODST.
Nice. This is the Meister Chief.
And this is Cobb-Tana.
Cobb-Tana. All right.
Oh, they're all good.
Yeah.
Wow.
We just need the Arbiter now. But it's the eve of Valentine's Eve. This will release on Valentine's. Wow. And so
it's Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras
as well.
Master Chief Gras, the greatest love story of our time, Master Chief and Cortana, and gamers' love of this franchise.
Where is the AI in my brain?
Yes.
That's right.
So Season 2. Did we talk Season 1? Maybe just on a watcha?
We did not.
Just on watches.
Even that I'm a little sketchy because I think our history is that maybe none of us watched it. We'll talk about that in just a second. But I do want to point out, Mike, this is not the first time we've done a Halo episode. We did a proper OG way back in the day, maybe like the first season of this podcast where we sat around and talked about our history with that game. But I'd love a little refresher. So I know you guys are Halo guys. Mike, Halo guy.
Yeah, and Microsoft's going to stop being exclusive, so that's big news. So PlayStation owners can finally play Halo and stuff, and cross-platform.
That won't ever happen. They won't throw it to a game.
Well, it's definitely
like that,
not because they can't sell Xboxes because nobody wants them, right? That couldn't be.
Ooh.
That's the
but it's about time because I think every game should be on every system. Exclusives are the way of the past, and I think if you can play Sony games on PC now, so you should be able to play Halo on PlayStation.
And the problem with Xboxes is you're already making a console. It's called a PC.
Yeah.
Microsoft, like you're competing with yourself.
Yeah. Well, they're officially losing the console war, so they should just you're right. They should just stick to PC. They're losing. Xbox is suffering in sales against PlayStation, so
to sell software. But that
Starfield was going to be their big
savior.
seller. So
nope. So, but we got another space game that was a big seller and a console mover, and that's the Halo franchise. And I love these. And I actually wanted to bring up, I have here, the insignia for Noble Team or whatever,
Wow.
And then
Silver
this
Team?
isn't technically mine, not Silver. That's the best team. But a friend of mine moved away and left this. So I have the entire Halo Reach Noble Team.
I know those guys.
Wild.
Yeah.
So they got their little guns. So I like Halo a lot. It's my most played game, Halo Infinite on Steam, like the most hours, like over 400 some hours.
Really?
So I'm a Halo boy.
Sure.
Yeah.
We've played a lot of Halo Infinite together over the past several years since that game dropped because it's been the only really Halo game that's been, since, years ago. So
like 5 and stuff.
And that game had its own problems, but it's still alive today and people are still playing it online.
And just, sorry, real quick, akin to what you guys were saying about not being Xbox dudes anymore, neither of you have the newest Xbox. You both play it on PC or whatever the Battle Pass equivalent.
Yeah, PC.
Right?
Correct. Through Steam right now. But the only time I switched in my life to a non-Sony console, let's say I was always PlayStation 1, 2, 3, when Halo, Xbox 360 and Xbox, that's when I actually bought those systems, was specifically for Halo.
For me, I'm the same. I was a Nintendo 64, GameCube, and then Wii, and then I was like, you know what? This Xbox 360 when I was in high school, I'm like, I'm gonna get that so I can play like real, mature games, not this Mario
baby
bullshit.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Colin, how do you feel about Nintendo and their baby games? Now, were you a Halo person?
I mean, obviously, yes. I was a big Nintendo person all the time. I had an original Xbox. I'm the 360 kid, like you guys. I love my 360 to this day. Still have a bunch of Halo games. But the nostalgia I feel I know we've talked about LAN parties. That was a big thing for our
Yes.
generation. This game in particular was
course.
part of that. And I think primarily people would say 2. I think maybe 3 is like the fan favorite game now, it
3 is
seems
kind of
like,
getting the
right?
peak. I think that's peak Halo
Yeah.
Online. Yeah.
But
3 for me, during high school, 3 was like the online game that really awakened me to the idea of like online shooters and stuff.
yes.
Like similar to how Fortnite is today for kids and stuff, or even for me where I'm playing Fortnite, that was Halo 3 for me in high school. So
Yes, trying to explain to my father why I needed an Ethernet cable and what Xbox Live was quite the interesting challenge, Jacob. But
Yeah.
the nostalgia I feel in particular for this franchise is so rooted in a game called Halo Combat Evolved, the first video game, and thinking about those summers where I'm like, okay, I'm a space marine shooting aliens, and then halfway through this story, fucking zombies are introduced. I remember that blowing my goddamn mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Halo 1 campaign to this day is still great. And sometimes I'll just get on, the Master Chief collection and I'll just fucking play those old
Hell yes,
Halo
dude.
1 and 2 campaigns, and they're still great. So yeah.
No, it owes a lot to the Alien franchise too, and Aliens. Let's say Space Marines and all that. I just finished rewatching those. That's why it's top of mind. But the way the first act plays out in the spaceship, and then it opens up into the whole like planet, like that was like mind blowing back in the day. Like it was really, it's really one of the standouts. So luckily we're getting a series that has somehow been able to capture the grandeur and the wonders that we experienced.
That's right.
In those days.
Well, and we're talking season 2, of course, which just dropped 2 new episodes on Paramount Plus. Now, season 1, remind me you guys' history with this show. For me, I watched the pilot, didn't really, I think I watched a couple episodes, didn't really follow through on the full season. But did you guys watch the first season?
So I think we again maybe talked about it in whatever Whatcha 2 years ago or whatever at this point, where I said, yeah, I think I watched the pilot. I can't even really remember at this point. The funny thing I want to point out now, though, my current experience with the Halo TV show, my father and I will sync up where we'll kind of like watch TV shows together, whatever, like choose something, whatever. Isn't it Paramount Plus? So for a million years, I've been pitching, and obviously we've talked about it quite a bit on this show, Strange New World, Star Trek, saying like, hey man, this is so much like the Star Trek you liked as a young man. You gotta watch Strange New Worlds. And my dad forever has been like, I'm gonna watch it, I'm gonna watch it, I'm gonna watch it. Now he just took a trip to Australia where literally he was like, Colin, I've got the whole flight planned out. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch the whole season of Strange New Worlds because I know for a fact Virgin Airlines has Paramount Plus. I was like, that's great, Randy Brooks.
That's a great way
and
to
he
do
was
it.
so excited. He checked in halfway through the trip. I said, how was Star Trek on the way out? He said, they didn't have it. They didn't have any of it for some reason. They only had the first 5 episodes of Halo Season 1, so I watched all of that. And I said, why did you do that? And he said, I don't know, because it was available.
So, and he loved it.
Yeah.
I know. And I think truly it was a thing of him being like, that has name recognition from when my sons were younger. I at least know what Halo is, I guess. But I'm not positive he would or does. So I don't know.
That's interesting. And of course, the history of this franchise getting made is long and filled with, it was in developmental hell for a long time. I mean, so many names were attached to either making a movie or a show for so long. I mean, I feel like Peter Jackson was like attached at one point, right? And I think the District 9 guy was going to make a movie or something.
That's right.
So many people have passed through this project over the years, and it finally got made. And this is what we got. So
And Mike, remind us, did you watch this show?
I watched the first episode, and then I kind of skimmed through. I watched like the final battle, but it's pretty infamous for taking, maybe I'll talk about it more proper. Yeah.
I remember a lot of just us as pop culture heads kind of texting in our little off podcast little text chain being like all these articles where it's like Master Chief fucks and stuff. Like I really remember us all kind of like focusing on like the buzz and gossip about this series.
Well, there was a lot of weird choices they made in season 1. Master Cheeks was a big thing
because the first episode he gets butt ass. Yeah.
I don't know in the first episode, but he definitely.
I thought it was 1 or 2, but it's early.
I don't know. I definitely didn't see it.
I think,
but our friend of the pod, Adam, was watching it, and not Adam Bennett, but a different Adam that we know, right? Who would tell me things. The people that I know that were watching were like, "Yeah, it's crazy things are happening." So I didn't finish the season because all my friends who were watching it were telling me it was bad. So why would I keep watching it? You know.
And famously, our Master Chief lead character of the games, we've had 20 years of games and we've still never seen his face. And in the first episode, they unmasked, which you have to do for TV, but that was a big sticking. Like, we don't.
Well,
that's not my
they
Halo.
said they had to do it for TV, Mike, while concurrently airing against a series called The Mandalorian, which does not do that, which is fascinating.
I may have some controversial opinions about this show.
Yeah, so maybe we should just jump into the meat and potatoes. We'll talk season 1 a little bit more and what these first 2, it takes 2 to tango. Happy Valentine's Day, normies. Buckle up.
Pick up your needler because we are back here on Normies Like Us talking Halo, the TV series on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, I mean, can I skim through season 1 and like vaguely have memories-ish?
Yeah, if you have them,
let
please.
me tell you,
Soldier, what was downloaded in your brain, Soldier?
I can tell you, for me, after watching these 2 episodes, I kind of was like, let me go back and start watching season 1. So I did watch the first couple episodes of season 1, so I can explain a little bit about what happened as well.
But I understand that there's like a human who's working for the Covenant, and then Master Chief ends up hooking up with her for a bit and trying to be seduced to the dark side, and then Cortana's like, yo, dog. Oh, she's watching the whole time because she's in his brain.
I
didn't get that far. That's later in the season. But yeah, that was a big thing. Cortana, obviously, this AI that can be in his brain and all that Dr. Halsey is trying to create and all this stuff.
Well, the things too is it's not resembling the game's plot really at all. And they said that originally. We don't have Sergeant Johnson. We have a couple named characters like Keyes and Halsey and Cortana and Master Chief. But even the other Spartans aren't from the games, even though we have the whole
probably
squad.
Super important to point out, Mike, that for a franchise that takes place on a deadly weapon ring called Halo, this series does not take place at a time where they are going to the Halo.
Well, it's actually, it's almost a prequel because it's essentially taking place at a time when they're sort of just discovering the Covenant. They've been fighting them for a little bit, but a lot of humans on these colony worlds don't even know about the Covenant yet because the UNSC has been kind of hiding what's been going on with this war. And they haven't found the Halo yet. That's kind of that's the big reveal at the end of season 1.
Oh boy.
Right. And in the timeline, like Halo Reach is happening kind of right before main Halo's going off. So this season's alluding to building up to that.
Yes.
Now, does this owe any like narrative ideas to any of these like books or huge backstories that have been established for the Halo franchise?
From what I've researched, I don't think so. Like these characters that we have, like the other Spartans, they don't exist in canon in the books from what I've been reading online.
It's almost like a
carte blanched it. Pocket universe.
Like the Star Wars situation where you have the extended books and everything have their own lore that Disney was like, no, we're not going to do any of that. We're going to do our own thing. It's kind of like that where this world's completely separate from the expanded lore of the Halo franchise as we knew it.
No, we've got really good ideas. This guy's gonna fuck.
Yeah.
We need him to fuck.
Game of Thrones it.
Yeah. And I wanted to mention before we get into season 2, it's a new showrunner for this season. The showrunners for season 1, unsurprisingly, they're like, you know what, we're good. We're gonna try someone else. So
they're
gonna
scam another streaming service with a different idea. The checks.
And so they were like, we're taking some of these criticisms of season 1 into account, and they're saying we're going to really revamp it for season 2. And the actor Pablo Schreiber said in interviews like, yeah, we're really trying to change things. We're taking the criticisms and it's going to be a different Halo in season 2. So check it out. Make sure to watch it on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, the marketing is extremely apologetic.
It's like, we're sorry. We know we kind of fucked it up. This season's going to be better. Just trust us. Please watch it.
Yeah, which I was surprised it even got picked up for season 2 because pretty much universally fans of the game didn't like season 1, and they'd be like, there's like 2 fight scenes that are worth watching, generally with what I've been hearing.
Yeah, it did have a very negative perception, but at the same time, it's like the most watched thing on Paramount Plus ever. So they kind of have to bring it back.
Yeah. But don't you think it's so much like the Amazon Lord of the Rings, where it's the sunken cost fallacy? Because for all intents and purposes, this was a Showtime developed and financed show that once Paramount Plus and the streaming wars started, they shifted it all over to that. And then I think for tax reasons, since Showtime no longer exists because it is now Paramount Plus with Showtime, I think they can literally just say, well, this is a fresh marketing budget. This is blah, blah, blah. This is our first time pumping revenue into this as Paramount Plus.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's an interesting way to look at it. And that did do like a couple things like the armor looked pretty good, like seeing the guns from the games and the sound effects. Like they did a okay job bringing some of that stuff to screen. It was just the plot and like.
Well, I think, let me say this. I might have some controversial opinions about this show compared to most people's reactions because, let me ask you this. Am I crazy that I actually kind of like this show?
You are. So
I believe you're crazy, yeah.
let's set up for our audience one more time, Jacob. You have said this. If it is a science fiction television show or fantasy-esque or whatever, you will tolerate anything or go for it. Yes.
As I mentioned on our Rebel Moon episode, I have a pretty low standards when it comes to like bad sci-fi. But I thought, well, especially these season 2 episodes, I liked them. Well, I thought they're at least an improvement over season 1, right? They are trying to change things. And I think, on our watch like 2 years ago or whenever, I do remember saying, I think I watched the pilot and I was like, I kind of like the attack on the colony of the the Covenant attacking the colony. I was like, this is a cool scene, and then it kind of went downhill from there, right? But they start you with a good hook, and I think season 2 kind of does that too with this these elites on this thing that this planet that Master Chief fights, and they're invisible and stuff, and the swords. Like I thought that scene was pretty cool.
And that's out of the games. The white elites that have the cloaking, that's like, okay, cool. So we're getting to see that iconography. So I'm on board with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So like season 1, they're starting with a strong hook. There is a lot of parts I find boring and I don't understand what's going on. But at the same time, I kind of don't hate it because I still think the world's kind of interesting. There's some interesting mysteries going on. So I'm kind of in on season 2. Yeah.
I would agree with you. The interpersonal stuff and some of the performances, like there's a character maybe we'll get to at a certain point where about 10 minutes into his performance, I was like, wow, this guy's blind. I'm just picking that up. That's fascinating.
Yeah. You kind of get a look at his squad mates, right? The Silver Team. You're getting kind of a look at what they're going through, their personal struggles as well. So
you see what they're doing. Yeah.
You do, and you see that it's clearly expensive, and I don't know if it's the stagecraft or whatever, but I think the special effects look pretty good. Do you see the Covenant in the first season? Because the Elite, I thought, looked tremendously good in this.
I will say they looked a lot better than they did in season 1. So in season 1, in the pilot, there's that big scene where they attack this colony. It's like the first scene in the show. And it's cool action scene, but they did look a little janky. The CG, the elites, they looked a little weird. And then when
was
you
it
see
grunts too? Are they practical? I assume they're all okay. Oh, really?
You get brutes.
Mostly elite. You get brutes. You see the what are their leaders called? The emperors or whatever.
Oh yeah, you get the prophets in there.
You see those guys a lot.
If you ever get a hunter, I would fucking lose my mind.
I am waiting for it. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something. As far as elites, the Arbiter is going to be in season 2. Like I looked at the cast.
Is it Keith David?
No, but it's
Not Goliath.
Okay.
Keith David's like 80 years old now.
But he should be allowed to
the
be this
Arbiter.
character
Yeah.
still. Yeah, why not? I
Yeah.
don't know.
Just do
No,
the
that'd be
Darth
great.
Vader and AI him. Just feed it into the machine.
I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah,
work.
but it's on the cast list for season 2 is the Arbiter, so I think we're getting him at some point.
Wow. As a
Interesting.
rival, there's clearly some setup stuff of paranoia and their training, and we'll get into all this.
They were
stuff.
advancing his
Very interesting.
storyline then, because he doesn't really show
Yeah.
up till Halo 2
Right. Yeah, I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
And
in the prime time.
and like you mentioned, there's this human woman that's like with the Covenant. I don't know what her whole deal is, but she's like, so basically the whole season 1 mystery revolved around this artifact that Master Chief finds in the first episode that he can touch, which is like Forerunner technology that certain humans are considered blessed ones by the Covenant, that they can touch these artifacts and do different things with them.
Some space
that's kind of
MacGuffin
what
stuff. And then
Do we want to say like the basic plot of Halo is like it's the future of Earth, we're the United Space Marine Corps, right? Is that true, Mike?
Well, it's the colonies because there's
okay.
we've expanded beyond Earth. There's all these different planets that have been
Right.
colonized, and some of the outer colonies, at least in season 1, were sort of at war against the UNSC because the UNSC is kind of seen as their oppressors.
Interesting.
Where
That's
basically in
kinda
season
Gundam, that's
1,
cool.
you're introduced as the Spartans are the enemies of these insurrectionists because they're basically used by the government to like put down insurrections. And stuff.
And explain the Spartans. Explain our hero John Spartan, aka Master Chief.
Well, the
Much
Spartan
like the regular
program,
Spartans, they're taken as young children and forced into a life of combat training.
A la Sparta, like the original 300.
Yes, this is Sparta. But they're augmented as well, so they're like stronger and just like really badass. Basically,
they're the elite of the elite. They have like cybernetic implants, so they can wear the suits, right? They can kick more ass, carry heavier weapons than the average soldier. They're the super special forces, Iron Man almost, right?
But they're also sort of like brainwashed to a certain degree, where they can't they don't remember their childhoods, and they have these like chips in them that like repress their emotions and stuff. So a big part of season 1 was also about like removing their chips so they can feel emotions.
Breaking free, sure, I'd have to imagine. Now, in the opening of this season 2 first episode, just something I want to point out about their suits real quick as we're talking about that. Our lead Spartan does say, "Do you smell that?"
Yeah.
Can they smell through those incredibly advanced? I guess the HUD robot suit is like, it smells like shit. And he's like, "Oh, Cortana, thanks for telling me it smells like shit."
Yeah. I think they can smell. Why not? Get some olfactory in there. That's pretty advanced.
He says, "Do you smell that?" I was like, do you?
Yeah, I'd have a filtration system at least.
They're on an alien planet, Mike. I'll point that out.
Yeah, who knows?
The atmosphere is breathable.
I guess.
I should mention with Cortana, so the big sort of cliffhanger of season 1 is that, so from what I know, and I haven't seen all of season 1, but this is what I know from just reading the wiki, basically.
I remembered something. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh,
if you don't say it, I'll say
so basically Halsey, who is Dr. Halsey, who is in the games, who is a character that's kind of important to the whole lore of Halo, is the doctor that oversees the whole Spartan program and everything. She's been wanting to put Cortana, which is an AI intelligence, into the mind of the Spartans because it's going to be the next step of evolution and all this stuff. It's going to make them more controllable so they don't go rogue like Master Chief does in season 1 and all this.
Right.
So the big cliffhanger is that some of the top brass is like, no, we can't use Cortana. And then she's like, no, we should use Cortana. And then at the end, they put Cortana into Master Chief to like save his life or whatever. And then the cliffhanger is like, you kind of don't know who's in control anymore. Is it him or is it her controlling him? This season starts, they're like, it's like 6 months later or whatever. We took Cortana out. Like, they're kind of like restarting the show almost, where they're like, forget about what happened in season 1. It doesn't really matter. Like, we'll come back to it.
Yeah.
And Halsey is like missing. I don't even understand what's going on with Halsey in season 2. Maybe Mike, you can explain a little bit.
From what I can vaguely understand of generic sci-fi plot, she like basically aided and abetted John Spartan's usage of Cortana or something. So now the military people want her, so she's on the run or whatever.
But she's being like held captive by the new guy that's like in control of the Spartans, right?
I want to talk about that guy.
Yeah,
Dr. Halsey, real
that.
quick. This is Natasha McElhenney, who I know from Californication, just kind of Truman Show, just kind of a veteran actress who's always been around.
And a fine pick for Halsey, I guess. Look, similar enough look to the game.
Yeah, I liked her in season 1 from what I've seen of her too. And then Colin, the other part of these episodes is the Bokeem Woodbine character Soren, who, if I can explain what he's all about, he was a Spartan who ran away from the program when John was younger, and basically became a space pirate and was like, fuck the UNSC, I'm going to become an insurrectionist. And so now he kind of runs the Rubble, which is like this space pirate ship, right? So we're introduced to him. He gets trapped in this whole plot where he wants to get Halsey, and then turns out that it's the UNSC arresting him. So who knows what's going on with him? But that's kind of where we're at.
Master Chief had his pet for season 1, Quan, his colonist friend that he was going AWOL for. They were running around. So now Quan's in the Rubble, so they have stuff to do.
Kind of was a Mandalorian story, right? It's like he had a Grogu.
He had a Grogu.
He sort of had a Grogu where, if I can remind you of the pilot in season 1, basically we start in the perspective of this character, Quan, who is the daughter of the general of these insurrectionists on Madrigal. And immediately they start getting attacked by a Covenant. Her whole settlement gets wiped out by the Covenant. So she's the sole remaining survivor. The Spartans come in, kill all the elites, and she's the only one left alive. So he takes her back in his ship. On the way back, the interesting thing what they're doing with the show is that the UNSC, they're not like all good guys. Like they're all kind of doing mischievous things. And they're like basically kill this woman kill her because she's kind of inconveniencing us of being alive. And so they order him to execute her, and he goes against his orders. That's when he runs away.
I want to have sex, he said immediately.
Yeah.
I guess
so. And because he finds this artifact that he touches, he starts seeing memories of his childhood and stuff. So he's going through a lot in his head. So they're trying to control him. They're like, oh, he's gone rogue.
It was something where his mother interacted with forebear technology in the past. I do remember something about that. Totally.
Yeah. So
that's what this woman who's with the Covenant is kind of the same as John, where she's a blessed one that they call her. I don't understand this stuff at all. Like, I don't know why this character exists.
Is in the game.
But it seems like maybe they've moved away from her, because we do not see her in the season 2.
No, we see her in the end of the episode 2.
Oh, I did not realize that's who that was.
That last fight scene where the elites show up on that.
The door open.
Okay. Yes, I truly was like, oh, interesting new Spartan character they're introducing. No, I had no clue.
I thought maybe that's where they would introduce the Arbiter or something, because I knew that he's coming in this season.
I thought that's where they're going to throw a hunter in that hallway. Too soon.
Well, let's hit pause for a second before we go into more plot stuff, and let's keep breaking down. Let's rewind to our cast a little bit, because we said his name, but let's be sure to hit this now. Pablo Schreiber is the lead star of this series as John Spartan, 69 or whatever the hell his name is, Master Chief. I'm so impressed by you guys right now.
Well, to be fair, it's the most famous designation, and when we play Halo, we set the field of view to 117 degrees out of respect for the Master Chief.
Oh, guys, I love you. I love you guys. Halo's the best.
It's okay.
What? Well, now it's been ruined.
Master Chief from Fortnite, I mean,
Yes. What do you guys think of this performance, Pablo, as Master Chief?
I think it's pretty good. I mean, I want to get into this helmet controversy. Okay, so the big controversy of season 1 was like all the fans were like, you can't take his helmet off. Like he always leaves his helmet on. For me, I have a different perspective. I don't really care if he takes the helmet off. Personally, I actually prefer that he would take the helmet off sometimes, because I don't think it makes sense for him to always wear the helmet. When he's like back in the base and stuff, just hanging out. Like, why does he have to wear the helmet? You know. Right. And 2, I like that that it's the actor, because like in The Mandalorian, when I found out that it's not even Pedro Pascal, like most of the time in the suit, I was like, well, that's kind of a bummer, right?
Yeah.
Like I like to know that it's Pablo Schreiber so I can see his face. And also you can see the actor emote more when you can see their face, right? So that's my reasoning for why I don't mind the helmet thing.
all that is logical.
Yeah.
But that's not my Master Chief. I always thought in the games, it's just you're obviously you're in the character, but like he doesn't take the helmet off, and it's a way to separate like the status and eliteness of a Spartan with regular grunts. Like he is above humanity, like a regular person, and it kind of
I would say he still is.
You have to humanize him for
and
drama. I get that.
But the game, he's fucking Superman by that point. Because isn't the start of every game just him being unfrozen and being told, like, okay, here you are now. You have to go down there and fucking kill everybody.
Weapon. Yeah, it's it.
The thing is, when you're in the games, in the campaigns of the games, you're always on a mission or something. So when he's on a mission, he is wearing the helmet in the show, right? It's when he's back at base. Like, you don't always, like, if he's eating a meal, how's he going to wear a helmet if he's eating?
Right.
No, so they show him kind of living his life outside of missions and stuff.
He can smell stuff with that helmet on. I'm pretty sure he can taste stuff with it on too, Jacob.
Yeah. He has to. No one can look at his face when he eats and he takes his helmet off. Just like the Mandalorian.
Now, here's my opinion on it, because I am pro what you're saying, Jacob. But here's my personal take on it. He cannot wear the helmet because the helmet cannot fit his head. Let's go back to a conversation. An Iron Claw conversation we had.
Oh, wow.
Now, Pablo Schreiber, this is not who Pablo Schreiber is. He's transformed into doing these action movies. I find this incredibly fascinating. But what Hollywood is trying to convince us normal people happens to men in their 30s and 40s now. Again, Kumail Nanjiani, Zac Efron, Pablo Schreiber, a million other people you could name. The idea that we go through a second puberty where our head changes shape is a fascinating trick that Hollywood is trying to pull on us.
Well, as you get older, you lose your youth and stuff.
Your ears grow, your nose grows, all that stuff, sure. But when you are taking pure testosterone, which is what these men are doing, your skull changes shape in a way that is not what is supposed to be happening to human beings.
Well, he's doing it just like Zac Efron, the method. He was experimented on as a child soldier. He's not.
It makes sense for this role. Yeah, I mean, he's
I don't agree with it.
I'm hearing it never makes sense. Stop killing yourselves. You are guinea pigs, these actors. In 20 years, the heart problems
he's playing
they're gonna have.
An elite super soldier, it kind of makes sense for this role.
But is it worth it, is my argument. Jack Reacher, I watch Reacher every week. Alan Richardson is 100% honest about it.
That guy's
like,
naturally
look at
just
me.
huge, though.
Oh, yeah, right. Size-wise, he's like, look, I'm 6'2", I'm a big dude. If you guys don't think I'm taking every drug on the planet, you're a maniac. Look at what I have to look like. And again, should he be doing that?
I think he should because
no, not for his lifespan. He shouldn't be.
It's different in competitive sports where obviously these things are not legal due to competitive reasons. But I think in a movie or something like that, you're not competing against anybody. So I say if you want to shoot up whatever you want to, I think you should be allowed to.
And we brought up kind of a bad example of it's like it could create a little body dysmorphia maybe for young men, and they're having a hard time right now.
That's the fear, dog.
And I would say that's my major problem with it, because even Kumail Nanjiani has said, like, basically it fucked him up mentally after Eternals had mixed reviews. Basically,
why did I do this?
What did I do that for? Like, it wasn't even worth it.
What was the point of this?
I want to bring up a point like that too, and I'm watching the show, and I'm a little colder on it than Jacob, but I might continue. We'll see, because there's some.
I might as well also. Huge bomb here, guys. I also was kind of sold on it, so
I kind of hate it, but I kind of like it. It's very weird. Love, hate.
But I think there's with regards to like his body and everything, I think there's ways to do it safely where you're using HGH or whatever. There's if you're doing it in a safe way, I think it's either like there are some adverse side effects, but I think we have it down with science now where that you can control it, but I would just worry about the psychological effects. But I think he looks great in this show.
His brother is turning into a meatball, Jacob. Liev Schreiber is turning into
he's a little bit
literal piece of pastry dough. That's what it is. It's the half brother genetics too. All the good stuff went into Pablo.
I mean, for me, his brother was Sabretooth.
Skarsgård quoted.
Bring him back, Deadpool. We need him.
Pablo is still young enough that it makes sense for him to look like that. I would say the Hugh Jackman thing, him having to get back in shape for Wolverine, that's what scares me. Is like,
Yeah.
he had
Yes,
his whole
that's
Wolverine
so
bid.
true,
We said
dude.
farewell to the character. Now
Oh.
he's back. He's like 60 years old. I don't even know how old Hugh Jackman is, but he should not be
again,
training
it's
that
like-
hard.
Just to, and it's a media thing to have Adonis Greek god statues. It's like, maybe we can just have regular people too, but it's a whole thing. It's a whole nother conversation, but I do feel bad for kind of the whole cast of this show when sometimes it's very, very mediocre. And I'm like, you guys are trying so hard and they are not giving you good material. And like, you're getting paid, but this at the end of I'm just going to call it at the end of the heat death of the universe. I don't think Halo, the TV show, is going to be going down in the books as one of the greatest of all time.
I think it will. I think it will.
He's calling it now. So I kind of feel bad for everybody involved. To like, this is essentially garbage.
No, of course.
The content factory, right?
Yeah, but I think he looks good. I mean, even when he's not wearing the helmet, he's so physically sort of intimidating. His presence, like he's just such a big guy, that like he fits the Master Chief role for me. So I think Pablo Schreiber's doing great.
I think he's trying really hard. I think in a lot of those scenes where he's going up against the bureaucrat and he has to be so buttoned up, but like Jacob, not having seen that first season, I think the rest of like Mike and I pick up, and I'm sure you did too, like in the writing that like this guy is having issues with his emotions. There's clearly something that's either he's about to lash out with or the PTSD he can't deal with. The subplot of the weird female soldier thing that he's doing in these first 2 episodes, I think is really interesting for that too.
Survivor's guilt. I love that.
Yes. That I agree with you. I think Pablo's doing a really good job. I again wonder, like, it's like, is he the only guy who could do this? Probably not. But I think this is probably the best you're going to get for a Paramount Plus original TV show or whatever.
Yeah, so, I like what he's doing because he's sort of, you can tell he's got a lot of inner turmoil going on. But he's still like this military guy. So he has to have this calm exterior. So he's like, he has emotions, but they're like barely concealed under the surface. He still has to remain sort of composed. And his leaders keep fucking with him because it's like this Ackerman guy who's like, definitely evil or something because something's going on with this guy.
He's teamed up with that other lady. Like, it's got to be.
Yeah, that guy. I know that guy from Titans, the HBO Max Terrible. He played the villain in one. He is he is up there with Corey Cunningham for me as a guy who, when I see him and stuff, I'm like,
I don't think he's doing very good.
Well, he's clearly got some ulterior motives. He's like gaslighting Master Chief, telling him he didn't see what he saw and all this stuff. And that's what we find out. He's like keeping Halsey captive in this like virtual room or something.
Not. I mean, truly, maybe those were real clones, whatever that whole backgammon.
Yeah. Well, there was a whole cloning thing in season 1 too, where Halsey was making flash clones of humans, which was like illegal, and that's why it was controversial, the whole Cortana thing.
But I was about to say, isn't literally the backstory that Cortana is a clone of her own brain, though? Right? Did we say that?
I think so. In the games too.
Yeah.
I think it's like her AI. Yeah.
And should we say the voice of Cortana is the original actress from the video game? She's the only one to carry over.
Well, in
Jodie
season 1,
West?
she was.
Is that what her
in
name
season 2, it's a different actress. So.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Because we're now seeing her, so they cast an actress to portray her physically. Because.
But for that weird hologram date scene, because we haven't actually seen her yet.
Well, in episode 2. When the evil dude
bad
talks
guy
to her.
has a conversation with her.
Oh, guys, boy, I really was not following.
We're gonna continue.
I might read.
That's all episode 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did like in episode 1, you had the whole Blade Runner 2049 type scene.
But Mike, I almost, before we even started this thing, when we were kind of soft selling if we were going to talk about this or whatever, we decided on this. We've started at different times, whatever. I was into that episode where I almost texted out like, Mike, you might end up fucking loving this show, dog.
Yeah, I got there, but I'm not loving it, but Jacob did mention it has flavors of The Expanse. All the stuff with the rubble, like, that is giving Expanse.
I mentioned
vibes.
earlier, it reminds me of The Expanse, another show that I like a lot. It's just like a not as good version of The Expanse, basically. So
which is not as good a version of Blade Runner,
Yeah. So if you want to see a good version of the show, watch
like
The Expanse.
the feel of like there's like almost like a YA dystopian, like that you have to keep cutting to the Silver Team like working out at this space station. I'm like, this is kind of like interesting. I don't know.
Again, it feels like I said it's the Rebel Moon of TV shows, because it's like, all right, you're grounded, Master Chief. We're the bureaucracy. Like, oh no, I can't do my soldiering anymore. Like it's like, and here's a cyberpunk planet. Let's do that for a bit. Like it's just a little bit of all the tropes with a Halo wrapping paper.
But it's a lot like in the Expanse, you have like the Belters and the Mars people and all these different factions. And that's kind of similar here, where you have the outer colonies and they're against the UNSC and stuff. So it's not like humanity is not all united against the aliens, kind of how it more is in the games, where they added this whole thing of like some humans are like bad to other humans in this whole, and I do think they're making it more like a Game of Thrones type show. They're like different factions are fighting for control.
Yeah,
and
there is
and stuff.
no moment in any of these games where you go like, oh shit, space pirates, right?
Nope.
Like at all, right?
No,
at all.
No.
Just,
but I think it works for the show because it makes it more interesting. I mean, personally, and this might be, like I said, controversial, like the lore and the story of Halo never interested me that much. Like I liked Halo for the gameplay. Like I just don't find the lore of Halo that interesting. And it's just very generic sci-fi to me. And I kind of like some of the changes they make for this show better.
This show is generic sci-fi. What are you talking about?
It's so vocabulary sci-fi to me. Like the fact that Jacob, like literally when we started this thing that we all did throughout these different things of like the Arbiter, ODST, you know, you're this squad, you're this, and that literally I can like encyclopedia go through like gravity hammer, energy sword, and just name off every single weapon that they have. Like that's the stuff that like Halo is to me, but I agree with you that that's not.
But they're showing all that
story or world building.
Yeah, they've showed a lot of that stuff in the show. Like there's been a lot of nods to the game and stuff.
Right.
It's just they're also expanding it and adding new things that was never in the games, which is more controversial.
Well, and I get that you can't carry a show with just Master Chief adventures. You need to have other characters and other side plots happening, you know, like I get it. Like it's a function of the medium, you know. But
like,
let me point a show like when it is just a guy doing missions the whole time, a little show called 24. Steal a format like that.
Well, yeah.
With the Arbiter and Master Chief working against each other.
Doesn't Paramount Plus or CBS have like a SEAL Team 6 show that like David Boreanaz is just like the lead of? Like, wouldn't you imagine every one of those episodes is just badasses do a mission? Like you're
like stranded or something, and that's your season.
It seems like something you could do, that you don't need all the humanity to it that they obviously try to insert.
What I'm liking the most is when it's doing Halo stuff. The rest of it is when I'm like, this is just run of the mill to me. Like, I get that you have to tell a story and world build. I'm not here for that. I'm here for my energy sword, like Colin said. And when I see that stuff, I'm pretty pleased.
But there's it's kind of a slow build to what it's. I think they're looking at the long plan and saying we want to have like eventually it's going to be like Master Chief versus the Covenant way more, but they're sort of they're making this whole drawn out mystery, which I would argue maybe isn't working the way they want it to, but it's like the mystery of the Covenant. What are they trying to? They're going after these artifacts. They're doing this like training mission, which was the first episode. But the whole mystery of this season now is like he finds these elites that were training on this planet right before it got glassed by these. They have these like super layers that just glass.
Cool terminology.
They were training.
Yeah,
they were getting better.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
They're out there.
Like, what are they training for?
To bring their Halo and start the Halo show.
Probably, war.
Can we start at Hades Res?
But what
so if you look at it all as an extended prequel to what people actually like about Halo, that's kind of what it is right now.
But it's the Obi-Wan thing where we're doing like, how many times do we have to have him talk to bad guy? And he's like, nope, John, you're grounded still. And it's like, you only need to do that once. Like it's stretched out artificially because of the medium. And there's a lot of shows that have been suffering from that. And I don't love that.
And that's kind of what I feel like watching these season 1 episodes now, I'm like, they're really stretching out the story to the point where like this could have been condensed because it's like almost they needed to fill a certain amount of episodes.
And that's what hurts.
And it's all Yeah, so it's all this mystery that leads nowhere in the end, or it's not as interesting as they think it is. But I do feel like they watch The Expanse and they're like, we need that. We need like political intrigue between these different factions. We need like
Yeah.
some leaders that are up to no good. And like Halsey is controversial too because she kind of has her own agenda with Cortana and everything. And then you have like the admiral that's like, no, you can't do that. Blah blah blah. So I don't know. They're adding a lot of intrigue.
They're trying to, yeah, and it's definitely starting better than season 1. And once they get to Reach, like that's where I'm anticipating more game adjacent kind of events to be happening. At least like the way things unfold, where the Covenant do bring a Halo to kill everybody.
Yeah,
just give me a Halo.
Yeah.
Get me on the thing.
Give me a Halo in my Halo show. Now, Mike,
Yeah.
I would have to assume because we keep saying
get that in
that
season
obviously
4.
It's well, yes,
you know what I mean.
Well, you see the Halo in the end of season 1.
Well,
that's what
sure.
I want to be on it.
Again, the tease. I think the backroom dealing mindset for them is exactly how Mandalorian and Grogu is playing out, where they wanted 3 seasons of a show that sets up other shows where literally you call one ODST or Reach or whatever that you're spinning off the Silver Team, all these other people. Your audience is so excited. And then the game stuff happens in a culminated movie that we finally get Reach the Halo Wars or whatever the fuck it's called, you know, whatever the games are. But I mean, the idea that would happen, it's just it's fantasy. It's just fantasy. Like it's not taken off.
I see a boardroom person imagining that just with the player base. Like, this is big, right? Like, I don't know anything.
There's kind of 2 ways they could have gone with the story, where they could have followed the plot of the games more. But then you would argue, well, you don't need to adapt the plot of the games because you can just play the games, or they're doing their own thing, which is what they decided to do. But like The Mandalorian, the way that show's structured, it's a lot more episodic than this show. This show has like series long mysteries and stuff that it's building up to, like The Expanse. But I don't know. For me, the story of Halo is just not that interesting. I mean, it's just like Space Marines versus aliens, and there's like a Halo that's like a giant.
I think you are really forgetting in Halo 2 where fucking Master Chief and Arbiter are held up by the zombie brain that controls all the flood and has a conversation with them. Like, there is stuff there, like, Jacob, that is like interesting and crazy.
Tartarus like leads the brutes against the rest of the Covenant, you know, and it's like there's
division. What's the name of that little guy? The librarian, the little asshole. Fucking, I'd love to see that guy. Thank you, Guilty Spark 343.
He lives in the Halo.
Yeah,
so we won't see him till season 3 or 4.
We'll never. I mean, he's the villain.
I think they're saving some stuff
thing.
For future seasons because like, some of the stuff you're talking about is like Halo 2 and Halo 3, so they got to get to Halo 1, right?
Right, and that's what's frustrating.
That we're not at Halo 1 yet. It's season 2 of Halo.
Like, you could have the same plot beats of like, oh shit, there's a Halo out there. It's going to blow us up. Let's get the Master Chief up there. And then in between missions, we have the exact same scenes happening that we're doing, but just get us started on the Halo mission. Anyway, that's my complaint.
Yeah, they're really trying to build up the mystery of the Covenant. Like, what is the Covenant doing? And you don't even see that much. And I think maybe for budgetary reasons, like they can only have so many action scenes per season, so many times you can see aliens and stuff like that. So
and they want to get as many seasons as they can with something that was very expensive. Like it's all business, baby.
It does feel like stretched out, but I think season 2 they are trying to course correct a little bit. And they got a new showrunner. They're like, we're refocusing, kind of focusing more on Master Chief as the central character while still seeing some supporting characters. Season 1 was way more of an ensemble where you're cutting to different scenes of characters. At least that's what I see from the first couple episodes, where it's like, I really think it should be more focused on John.
You're with a lot of his crew, like a lot the Riz.
Went out for the Rizzler.
People.
I think they're almost. I think they're actually expanding on his crew. In this season, Kai.
That's how they're going to pad it out.
And
this isn't
Riz.
Bad Batch.
I hope he rewards your loyalty. Nobody's ever been a better Master Chief to me than Master Chief.
Does their
but you have like Riz is like injured and she's like having to come to terms with that.
Right, am I a good soldier still?
But what happens to a Spartan when they can't be a Spartan? I mean, so much of their battle cry is, you can't die. I'll shout out real quick the back to the bureaucracy scene. I loved the moment where he was like, where John Spartan says, "Good, you were a soldier. That's good. We need people in your position who had been on the battlefield. Not that there's anything wrong with you being behind a desk now." And the guy's like, "Oh, no. It's fine."
Yeah. But I mean, I do like season 1, that first scene had a lot of promise where it's like the Covenant's attacking this colony. The Spartans show up and it's like, oh shit, these guys, like, you see how ineffective like normal humans are against the elites, and then all of a sudden the Spartans come in and are just like fucking them up.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I see where this is going. It was kind of all downhill from there. We're like, okay, we have a strong hook, and then we're gonna have a bunch of boring stuff in the middle before the conclusion.
And one more fight at the end.
Yeah. So it's maybe just a budgetary thing where they're like, we need to pad out these episodes, so we're gonna have a lot of people talking.
Yeah.
It's the leftover screenplay. It's when this was a movie, as you said, in the development process for years and years. Alex Garland of Ex Machina fame, and he's about to have that Civil War movie come out. He was the highest paid commissioned screenwriter of all time at $1 million at the time to write Halo the movie.
Wow.
I'm kind of glad he didn't do it, because then he
I am too.
Other original things like Ex Machina, Annihilation, and all that.
Yeah.
But,
Thomas Jane. I'm thinking The Expanse. Thomas Jane would have been an okay Master Chief. Thinking about that now.
Especially at the time period of he's already doing Halo.
Yeah.
Like that age.
Right.
Yeah.
If it was a movie, you know who my pitch? Vin Diesel, I think, would have killed it. Wow. And I think he would have been like, no, the mask stays on.
Probably,
I gotta live in the suit.
Cortana family. All right.
But like, that's such a big moment in the first episode of season 1 when he does take the helmet off, because it's after he saves Quan. They're on the spaceship, and he's sort of trying to connect with her and humanize himself a little bit, and that's when he takes the helmet off. I actually like that moment. So I think, you know what, nerds, video game nerds, shut up. You're wrong.
I just tied
to my with the helmet off.
I like the voice. I need a weapon. You know, I'm just a classic Master Chief guy. I think it's a different universe. It is what it is. But the rest
when he's on missions, he keeps the helmet on. And
right. And that's
classic Spartan look, and it looks great, right?
Do you guys think, is Kratos going to be, of the God of War franchise, is he going to be the only other modern major video game star that people are going to be protective of, where they're going to be like, no, you can't mess it up. You have to do it like this.
Dang, a God of War. That's pretty well loved.
I think people are protective of everything. Fans of the series.
But just,
But
I'm just trying to think about something in the same range. Yeah.
Yeah.
Supposedly Prime's going to do one for God of War.
Wow. I wonder about Gears of War.
Yeah. Marcus Phoenix has to look like this, Mike.
He has to look like a refrigerator.
He has to look like fucking
if he doesn't
Dave
look like
Bautista,
a refrigerator, then he's...
Which people have pointed out, Dave Bautista play this character. And he has said, I've tried, they won't let me.
Also, Bautista's doing other more interesting things too, I think, where he's like, I'm a real actor, and I'm doing fucking Denis Villeneuve movies.
Yeah, but Marcus Phoenix, he's got that chainsaw gun. He puts it away, Jacob. He puts on tiny little glasses. He has to read a letter from his daughter, and he's like crying while he does it. You're like, yeah,
absolutely. He's got a chain. Yeah, that's perfect.
Gears of War is another game where I'm just not sure that it's interesting enough to make a movie about it. Maybe I'm wrong, because I don't know the lore.
It's the same thing as this. It's just they come from under the earth. Yeah.
It's just more edgier.
Yeah, it's just a little edgier, but it's the same plotting of, here's an enemy force that's getting our colonies.
I guess if there's one thing I want listeners to take away from this, is that if you do want to watch a good sci-fi show, check out The Expanse on Amazon Prime. It had it last season in 2022. It's a great show, and it stays strong all the way through. And it's a great ensemble cast and interesting plot lines and all this stuff. It's a lot smarter show than this. So
I thought this, what we watched and covered today, Halo Season 2, these first 2 episodes, I thought this was 1,000,000 times better than Rebel Moon.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
fair.
yeah. I would agree with that in terms of
the same length.
Story. Yeah.
It's 2 hours, Mike. You're not wrong.
I guess if I say what's working, I do like the way the armor looks. They're getting all that stuff right. It's everything outside, even Master Chief with the helmet off is fine. It's every other side character feels like coming from a script that was a copy of The Expanse they were trying to produce independently. It's just like a throwaway sci-fi series that they stapled onto the Halo franchise.
Yeah.
I really feel like they're trying to expand the world of Halo more
I'm
outside
trying to
of
make
just
$1 million,
Master Chief.
Jacob. I'm trying.
Oh, 100%.
I'm not succeeding.
But they're like, if we just focused on the Marines, like it wouldn't be as interesting. Like we want to show these colonists, like the whole Bokeem Woodbine character, which I don't think was ever in the games, is an interesting character. Soren, who is a former Spartan who ran away when John was younger. John let him go, gave him like a 5-minute head start or whatever. And
Vin would have killed this role, dog. He would have killed this role, dog.
Yeah.
A little cross.
But I thought that was interesting. Like the Halsey stuff was very confusing to me. I didn't care about the Halsey stuff in the first 2 episodes yet. But obviously,
see, it's interesting that we're all so split because, Jacob, I would argue my favorite stuff has been the Marine stuff. And I would argue the best bit of acting I think Pablo Schreiber did in the 2 episodes that we watched is in the training where fully armored up, they all keep fucking up. And he screams out, and you don't even see his face, but he screams out, they are training and getting better. You aren't listening to me. You have to get fucking better. And he like loses it on these people.
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole storyline with Riz, where she's injured but wants to prove that she can still do it. And then he's trying to push her to like, still be good, but she can't because she's injured and all this stuff. And I like the dynamics of this military squad where they're kind of dealing with like PTSD, and again
they're all broken, it seems like.
And this lady that he saves in the first episode, Major Perez or whatever, she has like this whole survivor's guilt of like seeing her whole squad wiped out by these elites, these Healy as they're called.
Yes, good work.
Oh yeah.
But even that I didn't understand. So like Ackerman, his new boss, is like, I talked to her. She didn't see any of that shit that
How
you
convenient is it that she was just ready to lie for this entire thing where he's like, your lie goes along with my thing perfectly. Let's gaslight the main character.
That guy who saved your life. Let's gaslight him.
And if you're that guy, you're just like, if you're Master Chief at that dinner, you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you just want to yell at her. Like, what the fuck are you talking about here?
Right.
Which that was a fine scene too, because he has to show a lot of restraint. Little like trope, like, oh, come on in and have dinner. Like, no, I don't want him to have dinner. Like, I've seen that.
Yeah, and her brothers.
I love played out well.
These
it was well done.
Banging or what's happening?
Yo, you're a fucking Spartan, and Pablo Schreiber exploding out of the T-shirt that he is wearing in this dinner scene too. Is like one flex, it will explode off of his body.
That's what I like. He looks so.
Like, I don't keep count. It's like very like he's like.
That's how he lets them know. What's your KD ratio? He says, literally, what is your KD?
What'd you get in the last game?
Because then he thought he was talking about the video game.
What's your rank, Mike?
Oh man.
How many skulls do you have? Can you do big head mode or what?
Yeah,
but I do like, I like how physically intimidating he looks, even without the suit, without the helmet. Like he just looks so huge when he's on screen.
He does. He looks good.
Shows up with his Travis Kelce haircut, and it wins our hearts.
Now we can have the SEO.
You hear Taylor Swift is dating Master Chief?
She would be.
That's wild. Jock it's huge. Everybody knows who Master Chief is now.
But I wanted to also shout out.
His podcast is blowing up.
Sort of mystery. The cliffhanger of this episode 2 is that we meet this Cobalt team, which is another team of Spartans that we never saw in season 1, I don't think, but they show up and they're like, "Oh, hey, Silver Team, like we're gonna bully you or whatever."
And so Cobalt, Madrigal, these feel very Halo to me as well. Are these references again? No,
probably.
Madrigal sounds very Halo. I don't remember Silver Team because like Noble Squadron or whatever, Noble Team is.
Yes, those are your boys.
That's not a medal.
There's like a bunch of different teams of Spartans that are like teams of 4 or something, and they all have different code names.
Can I say something? The black general, like the chief of all these people.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the guy
Major
who's
Keys
the guy in the
is
game.
a character in the game. Yeah,
But he
Keys.
is. But he's that super famous guy who recurs that whole time. That's supposed to be this actor who's in the show, I guess.
Not
right?
Johnson. There's Sergeant
Not Johnson.
Yeah.
He's Keys.
He's playing Keys,
Oh,
who's a white dude
okay.
in the game, but I don't.
Okay.
That doesn't matter. But he's playing Keys from the game. Yeah,
Right,
Johnson,
right,
Which we
right.
need Johnson with his
Okay.
mustache running around.
Yeah,
with a
that's
cigar.
why I just assumed. Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
the only character names that I know for sure were in the game is Halsey, Keys, and
Cortana.
Master Chief
basically.
and Cortana.
Yeah.
But yeah, Johnson's so like iconic too. I don't know why they haven't pulled the trigger on that.
I
He'll
would have
probably-
assumed that was him. Yeah.
He'll probably show up at some like we haven't seen the normal Marines much at all. So we've
It's
only
not
seen
wartime yet. It's
Yeah.
Right, we've
skirmishes.
only seen Spartans, which is
Yeah.
kind of not how it goes in Halo lore, where they're like, "You're the last Spartan," basically, right?
They're like,
Yeah.
we can't do it
Because they
call them
died in the Keyblade Wars. Is that true, Mike? Isn't that what happened in the lore
Yes.
of Halo?
Yeah, I
it happened in
think,
Fortnite for sure.
I think
Rox and
Cloud
Goofy were
shows
wearing
up.
metal
Yeah.
armor.
Cortana's digital version. They had to fight a nobody.
That's-
Master
that's
Chief's
right.
nobody showed
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
But the big so the big mystery is like Cobalt team. They're kind of razzing Silver Team a little bit. They're like, whatever, you're grounded or whatever. We're going out on a mission. They got us on some fix-it mission or whatever.
Mhm.
And then John is like basically he talks to his boss Ackerman. He's like, you're not telling them like what's out there. Like you didn't tell them what I saw and stuff. But because Ackerman's saying like you just hallucinated that basically.
You didn't see what you saw.
I think,
Yeah.
So then he discovers what they never went out, right? Or like they didn't. he
Well,
was going to look for
they're-
them, right?
They
Yeah,
weren't
they
logged.
went to
They
this
never
planet.
returned.
Yeah, it's something suspicious going on with his mission, but they send him out there without telling him that there would be basically Covenant on the ground that might attack them.
Mhm.
So then he's going out now, or him and his squad are going out to try to find Cobalt Team and see what's going on. So that's kind
And
of
that's
the
at
cliffhanger of episode 2.
Reach, I believe, or is that not?
Yeah, they show Reach. Oh, I don't know if are they on Reach? Is that where the base is
I'll
on
double
Reach?
check.
Or
I can't remember if
yeah.
that's what they were saying.
Oh, okay.
Because that's that's
okay.
starting to escalate. But let me do.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Okay.
I'll confirm. But yeah, so that's the mysteries. What's going on with Cobalt Team broadly? And he's going
just
rogue
what are-
now, which he does in the game a
Yeah,
lot. He'll
he
just be like,
already-
Fuck you, I'm going.
A
And he
lot
already
of
went
this
rogue in
second
season 1,
episode
too.
between this stuff and the flash forward or flash sideways, I guess, to the clone woman playing backgammon. A lot of
Mhm.
that was just me sort of nodding and going like,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay.
A lot.
Like not really getting
No.
it. It's kind of just
The
watching.
clones, the Halsey stuff is basically like she's like missing or something now, but she's actually
Yeah.
being held captive by Ackerman, this guy
Who's
that's
clearly
like the new Halsey.
usurping power. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he also talks to Cortana at one point and is like talking about something that she's running predictions for, and she says there's a 97% chance of this thing happening. And he's like, oh, okay.
I
so
don't
there's
remember
no
this
point.
scene. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
happened. Just the Cobalt Team never left Reach. They haven't returned from their mission, and they never left
Right.
the planet. So that is
Right,
where
and
they
that's-
are.
John is constantly obsessed saying, I'm going to figure out what happened to Cobalt now. So
We're gonna get
clearly
them
he's
back.
going to go to
He knows there's
Reach.
certain things that his bosses are not telling him, and he's basically sick of like the whole thing at this point where like they're keeping him in the dark about so much, and that's what season 1 was too. Where
Right.
it's like you're our tool, like we'll use you how we feel, and he's like,
And-
no, I'm
but-
actually like an individual, and I'm going to do my own thing.
And Jacob, sorry, do you know how do they wrap up him finding the artifact in the season 1 that it activates Halo and then it just disappears or something?
No, the humans have possession of it now because he
Okay. So it might tie
it's
into
Forerunner
this.
technology
Yes.
that only
Okay.
certain humans have the ability to interact with, that are called blessed ones by the Covenant, which is what Maquis.
Blessed ones? No.
That's what this girl
Not in the
Maquis
game, but
is, who
yes.
was kind of raised by the Covenant, who then
Right.
he-
Okay.
him and her and Master Chief hook up.
And they have a
artifact
pass
hunting.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah,
Um,
she's like, come to the dark side. And he's like, no, come back to the human side or whatever. She's like, no,
Right.
humans are
Okay. I hate
scum or
humans.
whatever. Yeah.
my parents were human. They were assholes.
Oh, you
Humans.
fucking race traitor. That's wild. She's fucking out here with
Yeah.
these aliens fucking shooting at us.
Well, you
Yep,
see
yep.
her flashback in season 1. She was like captured as a child by the Covenant because she has this special ability to interact with the Forerunner technology, and then she was raised by Covenant, so she's kind of brainwashed or something
like
into
Halo
being like,
syndrome.
yeah, where she's like, yeah, fuck humans, Covenant all the way, baby.
And is it called McKee in the lore, or you're making a Star Trek joke?
That's her name in the show, but she's an original character to the show.
Aren't in Deep Space Nine, aren't they called the Maquis?
The Maquis,
those revolutionaries?
Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
That's
Her
very
name is
confusing.
Maquis, M-A-K-E.
I don't like that. It's too close. I hate that.
I guess so, yeah.
That doesn't make me very happy.
Yes.
But yeah, the Maquis in Star Trek are definitely.
How Machiavellian of you.
Nice, dude.
Maquis Gras.
Hey, happy Maquis Gras, by the way.
Happy Maquis Gras. Yeah.
But so basically, yeah, he, like, the military, they're just doing shady things. They're doing experiments on him. They're erasing his memory. They're suppressing his emotions. So I'm saying, fuck the UNSC. Like, if I was in Halo, I would be with the insurrectionists. I would say,
right,
F the man. I'm joining Bokeem Woodbine. We're gonna.
Everyone says that until the Covenant show up, and then you come crying for the Spartans.
Well, and yeah, I guess again, that's what makes this dichotomy so interesting. Is what we know from the video games is that it is a totally unified front of human beings versus aliens. So to sew all this other stuff in the background to how we get there, I guess is. I mean,
it's making the world a little more complicated or a little more shades of gray type of thing. Because the games, the sense I get from the games is that maybe there's sometimes someone's doing something shady within the military, but it's usually like pretty, like, everyone's pretty united. So
it's maybe someone gums up the works a little bit, but it's not like they're not betraying.
I think Halsey was doing some shady stuff too.
The entire Spartan program is shady.
Yeah. All right, now let me ask one more question here about season 1, and if they're not in it, then let's say, I guess maybe this is my big hope for season 2.
Yeah,
we threw out the last. Well, it's the last big thing I think we need to acknowledge, in that what makes Halo Halo. I'm talking vehicles. Do we see a warthog? Do we see a banshee? A ghost? Okay, awesome. Okay,
well, you haven't seen
to watch this season 1.
The thing is, the Covenant stuff, they've kind of been trickling it out. So you see elites.
That's what I want to see. Do you see a Needler? Do you see their guns?
Yes. You see a Needler. Okay. It's cool. And you see a gravity hammer with a brute.
Oh. Yeah.
Just watch
I haven't seen that yet, but is that later in season 1? Because I'm going to watch all of season 1 now, so I can talk about authority.
Here's what I need. I need in this season, he fucking goes on this mission to Reach. He's fucking following up to find this team or whatever. When he gets down there, he's bumping into the Arbiter. They're fucking hanging out, and then they're using Covenant weapons and vehicles. I need to see some fucking spillover for that shit.
Well, so far, I mean, you've seen they're really highlighting the energy swords, right? They're highlighting elites with energy swords with cloaking devices.
Yes.
He sees them in the first episode, and he kills a bunch of them in a really cool action scene, right? And then
it was good.
It was well
basically he's surrounded and he's about to get fucked up, and then they're just like retreat because I guess the planet's about to get glassed. But like, why didn't they just kill him? That's maybe part of the mystery, is that they want him alive for some reason.
Well, he's a blessed one.
He's a blessed one.
Yeah, he's a blessed one. Yeah.
They do get that right, though. Within the hierarchy, if they did have special forces, Spartan equivalent rank elites, it would be the white ones with the cloak and the energy sword. It wouldn't be the blue regular fodder level ones. No. So within the military hierarchy, they got that right, which is kind of nice.
And I did really just like that opening scene where he's trying to save that platoon, and they're getting like grabbed into they're getting pulled into the smog or whatever, and just disappearing. It was very spooky. And it's like
he's got this dumb idea that there's something out there in the fog that's going to grab us.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we do the hallway shadow scene. At the end of season 1, Master Chief dies. I forgot that he's Space Jesus. He dies trying to stop the Covenant, and Cortana takes over the suit, and that's how he's able to get out and survive.
And that's the big cliffhanger.
Jesus, now
is that Kai or someone in his squad is like, "You okay, Chief?" And then he's like, "Yeah," but they don't know if it's him or Cortana that's in control, basically.
And so, what does Kai or one of his cohorts says to this one at some point? Hey, Chief, are you feeling okay? I get it, man. It's been 10 years since you've been like alone in your brain or something, she says, right? So like he's had Cortana in there for like most of his life, it seems like, maybe.
At
No.
least an
No,
extended,
I don't think so.
maybe 10 months, but it's like
Oh,
either
10
way,
months, maybe.
something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, the big thing in
Still
season
recovering.
1 was Halsey wanted
Was
to put
getting her
Cortana in his
uploaded.
brain.
Okay.
Yeah, and then she gets uploaded in the very end. But then in season 2, it starts with you see him like on the operating table. They're taking Cortana out of him, and then it cuts to like 6 months later or something.
And would you guys fuck a hologram?
I was just gonna bring up no, but I would let it watch.
Yes.
I like how he goes to a hologram titty bar just to like talk to a facsimile of Cortana.
Yeah,
like,
he's trying to
that's a
like
nice
replicate.
touch.
That's the Blade Runner 2049 moment where he's trying to
Right.
replicate his hologram girlfriend, but it's just not the same.
But if I had the full K's apartment where hey, he has the thing that like
That arm.
emits her where she can walk around and like put the hologram of like the food
Eat
over what
food,
he's eating. I'd date that hologram. I would not date Cortana.
No, I would get the
Sure,
emitter.
if it's
I'd
Ana
get the
de
emitter,
Armas, yeah.
yeah,
I would
absolutely.
date Ana de Armas. Controversial, I know.
Dang, I can't believe it. Well, it's good to talk of romance on this Valentine's episode. You know? Cortana,
you have
joy.
to.
They
He's
knew that
he's
after.
clearly missing the love of his life. There's a very interesting story going on here. I hate that it's a
Right.
new actress. That's kind of depressing to me, but
Well, it's
whatever.
I think they want it because basically you just hear her voice mostly in season 1, and now they
Right.
want to depict her more as a character, so they wanted to cast someone probably younger because the original voice actress is maybe too old to portray her
and they're not
now.
going to do Natasha McElhenney. They're not going to be like, yeah, you do it. Like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But
I kind of like where this season's going. Like they are trying to fix their mistakes of season 1. I know season 1 had a bunch of like dumb bullshit that people didn't like, but it seems like they sort of took those criticisms to heart and were like, we're going to try to make it good now. So yeah,
It's so hard to make good TV, dog. I think you can take those criticisms to heart. I think it's an uphill battle, unfortunately, always to make good stuff. But I think acknowledging a course correction alone is the right step. I 100% agree with you.
I feel like season 1, it was a lot like Rings of Power, another show I never finished because it was bad, right?
I hate.
And it was like, but it was like they wanted to take this bold step where they're like, we're going to try something different, and we're going to like really, we're going to make a lot of changes from the source material. It's going to piss, the hardcore fan base off, but this is the direction we want to go in.
We want to make a Game of Thrones.
Yeah. But then people, they took the negative reaction to that was pretty strong, and they're like, okay, maybe this isn't working. Let's try to refocus the show and try to make it more like what people wanted, I guess. So I think that's what they're trying to do now.
So I'm down for it again. The stuff that's working with the Spartans is working. Like I'm okay. Let's get more Covenant shit, like Colin's saying. And if we get to Reach, you have the ODST guys because that's happening at the same time. And then you have get Nathan Fillion's character from the games in this show.
David Cross.
Cameo.
Right.
Just do it. Yeah.
Well, the ODST voice cast is like basically the cast of Firefly.
Oh, that's
that's right. Alan Tudyk was one too.
Alan Tudyk,
right.
they had
cameos.
Adam Baldwin.
I forgot about that.
Guys. Yeah.
God, getting in those
make a joke
tanks,
about
I can
washing
see
the
it all.
warthog. I just gotta wash this real quick.
Right. But they do have
funny.
they do a good job of when the Spartans are with regular Marines, they are seen as like, oh, these guys are like the
What
Like in
did
episode
you
1.
think about the shot of the two Spartans running at top speed? That was a little to me where
There's
I
some
was like,
shaky moments, but they're trying to highlight how
but
they're
Jake, I'm
augmented
with you,
and
Jacob,
stuff.
where I'm
Yeah.
like, I understand what it's trying to sell here, that they are so much better than everybody else, but there were clearly limitations of
It looked a little
making this
shaky.
show.
But again, if you compare the scene of him fighting elites in episode 1 to the pilot and the improvement of the CG, I think it's a big improvement. If you look at the elites in the pilot when they're attacking, it's a little questionable. Yeah, and I think they look a lot
to paint
better.
One of the prop guns too.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
He just had an unpainted
that's funny.
plasma pistol at one point in
Oh.
the pilot.
That's great.
Yeah.
They fixed
And
it
I
with
like in
computers
the-
later, but
In the first episode, he's climbing that mountain or whatever. He's using his grappling hook, and I'm like, oh, I remember that from Halo Infinite campaign.
God damn.
So that's a lot of fun.
If somebody drops a bubble shield or something, I will fucking flip out.
Yeah, it's getting
Well, you see
there.
you see BRs and ARs and all that kind of. You see the pistol and all that stuff.
I'm loving seeing all that. The sniper rifle.
Yeah,
like that.
What was your guys' favorite weapon? Were you a sniper, Mike?
I like shotgun.
I like pistol.
Oh, shotgun. Pistols
and
first
BR.
game.
The Halo 1
pistol that you could zoom in and fucking snipe with. I mean, that bad boy. Jesus.
Even to this day, Halo
pistol though. Yeah.
In Infinite, I'm a BR and pistol guy all the way. I prefer precision because I'm fucking getting headshots all day.
You can change all your loadouts now.
I like the Needler because I'm a madman. Bring dual wielding back.
Yeah, dude.
Needlers,
dude.
Close combat, Needlers are very OP. They can kill you faster than an AR or a BR. Basically.
Hell yeah.
It's making me want to 3D print Halo guns. Like just seeing them in the show, it like makes me want to have some artifact. Maybe I'll do the Halo 1 gun.
That is one thing. I want to see more Covenant stuff. Like I want to see more. I want to see more different aliens. I want to see the jackals. I want to see fucking grunts. I want to see all that
shields.
Sniper boys.
Plasma grenades. Like there's so much cool.
If somebody came down in a Banshee, I'm telling you, I would fucking flip out. Dude.
I need the hunters, man, in pairs.
I feel like we've mostly seen
fuel rod cannon. Fuck.
Just give me the goods, baby.
We've seen Pelicans. We've seen all the Marine stuff. We've seen Warthogs and the Jeeps and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Gooses.
But I think they're building up for more Covenant
Is
stuff.
every season finale, he's in a Warthog and has to do a really long drive to escape an explosion?
They haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
I would make that a priority to put it in my season finale episode. Yes.
That's I would love that. I mean, I guess I'll watch the rest of it. You know,
I'm going to. Here's the sad fact, Mike. I'm going to.
I like Halo enough that I just want to see the guns and stuff. I wanted to see a Wraith tank, you know, or a brute motorcycle, a brute chopper.
I kept asking my dad if he was excited for season 2, and I kept forgetting he does not actually have Paramount Plus. He's like, I can't ever watch any more Halo again. I was like, that's frustrating.
He could get it. He could subscribe.
You know, you guys
tell him to subscribe so we can watch Star Trek.
Well, what's better, Picard or this, in your guys' opinion? Because I think you guys have maybe done more Paramount Plus originals than I have.
Yeah. And I was thinking about this, Colin, because I was like, this reminds me a lot of the Picard show where it's like kind of bad.
Bad drama sci-fi, dog. TV sci-fi. Like it is.
And I would say the first 2 seasons of Picard are much worse than what I've seen from Halo. So I'll just say that. But season 3 of Picard is better, I think.
That's the course correct
or
season.
About the same.
The first 2 seasons are they're both worse than both seasons of Halo. I could at least say that. Yeah.
And neither of you guys watched Discovery.
No,
I've seen some of Discovery.
Seen some.
It's not my favorite.
That's all right.
Expanse. The Expanse is the best sci-fi show on TV. When it was on TV,
the CBS and Paramount, they just have the most money. Like no other networks do this many sci-fi genre stuff. Like those are not cheap shows to make.
The Expanse was on Amazon.
Right. And Bezos like literally personally paid for those, right? Because it was Sci-Fi
Channel
original.
It was struggling due to viewership was not like it was a cult hit, but it was not getting huge numbers. So like every season they're like, hopefully we can make another season. And finally they made a season 6. It was a shortened season and they wanted to do more. Like the books, like they didn't even cover all the books. Similar to Game of Thrones, they kind of rushed the ending because they're like, we're not going to get another season, so we got to make do with what we can. But the books are really good too. I mean, I haven't read them all, but basically, I'm talking about The Expanse. The books were written by proteges of George R.R. Martin. Who
you have made this pitch before. That's right. Yes.
Who are a duo.
They did
of
this
writers
whole series in the entire time that he has not written one book. Right?
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
It's so sad.
They're a duo that goes by the pen name James S.A. Corey, but they're 2 guys.
Corey Cunningham?
Yeah, Corey Cunningham.
Wow, Corey Cunningham writes these books.
Nice.
But Normies, check out The Expanse. It doesn't get enough love, I don't think. And it was a really great show that had a lot of really interesting ideas about the near future, if humanity were to expand into space, like how would that look realistically with different factions and all kinds of stuff like that? And there was some alien supernatural type stuff, but it was very minimal because it was like basically aliens. It was all about making first contact with aliens. I'll just say that.
Oh.
It's just space colonies. Early, like again, there's a whole Mars group. People live on asteroids and have brittle bones because there's no gravity. It's like a whole thing.
Yeah, there's the Belters. They lived in the asteroid belts, and they're like the working class. We gotta mine these asteroids and shit. It's great.
Were you both big Battlestar guys?
I love Battlestar.
I love Battlestar Galactica.
It functions so much stronger politically than what this is doing, which is maybe
just
why
the character drama. That's
I would say
you have to wonder if
that's one
that's
of
what
my
they're
favorites.
chasing too.
The Expanse and Battlestar Galactica are two of the best sci-fi.
You know, here's another show I'm going to throw out that like I bet is like Halo. I bet whatever is going on in the Walking Dead universe is a lot like this Halo show in that it's, I'm sure, a serviceable action scene every episode, and then a lot of focus on characters where when you're watching, you're like, why are we spending so much time with these people? Like, can we just like get back to like what I want to see?
Right. Well, The Walking Dead, I mean, the main show is over. It's now all spin-offs.
How dare you? How dare you?
Rick and Michonne
that show
spin-off.
never dies. That's the whole point,
Rick's
Jacob.
still there. It's still
No,
alive.
We're The Walking Dead. Don't you know we're The Walking Dead? We're the show.
We're The Walking
I don't know
Dead.
if you guys know what's going on with that show. Right now, there's a Rick and Michonne spin-off that's coming, and there's a Negan and what's her name spin-off.
Maggie. And then Daryl has one where he's in France kissing a nun or something like that. And you're like, okay.
Yeah. But the Rick and Michonne one was like, oh, they're bringing back Rick. That's pretty.
I think
cool,
Michonne wrote the movie or wrote the series or whatever.
Yeah,
that's why.
I thought it was going to be like a TV movie, and now it's going to be a series. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Well, Normies, we're giving you several alternatives to the Halo show to watch another Halo episode.
But go back and watch Battlestar Galactica.
In the spirit.
Yeah. If you want things that are kind of slightly above average.
You had freaking Edward James Olmos. I mean, come on. Starbuck, Gaius Baltar. You know, these are all characters that we know.
Between Bo-Katan?
Yeah, somehow Katie Sackhoff more charismatic than Pablo. I almost called him Pablo Escobar.
Not more charismatic than him.
Well,
he can be very convincing, at least.
Yeah. But again, Starbuck, I'll watch any sci-fi or fantasy. I'll probably watch it, even if it's bad. So
you know what?
I have
That's
low
what
standards.
Kai should have been Katie Sackhoff. That's what the show desperately needs. Someone who can match the screen presence.
Well, they're all.
John Spartan.
Again, budgetarily, they're kind of all no names except for Pablo Schreiber.
And she's doing Star Wars, but she would fit right in this show.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pablo Schreiber, to be Sharper, to be clear, like when he's not doing this, is doing like Jerry Butler movies. Like they're not,
I've seen him
not going great.
He's had some good roles. I've seen.
But his big breakout, he played the character Porn Stash on Orange Is the New Black, right?
Yeah.
The first Netflix original. So think about, or I guess one of the first, right?
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, he's been in some movies and stuff too.
No stranger to streaming.
It's a good.
But yeah, the Silver Team, like those three are all like complete no names. Like they don't even have. Like I was looking on Wikipedia, they don't even have links on their names, so I couldn't even figure out.
The albino blind guy he's like a rapper, I believe. He was the main villain of the CW Black Lightning TV show. So I've seen him quite a bit.
Sure.
I have no idea who he is, but yeah.
Yeah. I knew I'd seen him.
He's not actually blind. I'll point that out to you.
Right.
So,
well, I think he's probably acting.
It took a while for us to figure out his character was blind.
I wouldn't even call it acting, honestly.
Fair enough.
But yeah, Normies, check out Battlestar Galactica. Check out The Expanse.
Think about Halo.
We kind of rolled into final thoughts here. Let's officially jump over to final thoughts and give our final opinions here on the ring known as Halo here on Normies Like Us.
I guess the Halo is kind of a ring of power if you really think about it.
It's the original Ring of Power.
That's right.
All right, I'm ready.
Isn't the twist of one of the Halos that there are a ton of Halos and that they come together to form a super Halo?
they're making like a super Death Star beam or something with all the halos. Yeah, something like that.
We got Cortana. We can't let the halos line up with the other halos. Like, I definitely remember hearing that as a kid, being like, "Yep."
It's the alien dollar sign at the end. Halos.
Halos.
We need
I can tell you
more.
Halos would be a good game, Mike, and I'm shocked that they have not made that.
That's what kind of Halo Infinite, the one I played most recently.
Halos.
Well, that's called Zeta Halo, which is like a super Halo that they're on. I don't know.
I never played that campaign.
Any final thoughts? Because you guys still play that game occasionally, and it is, I'm not wrong in saying it is more like, it's like a live service Fortnite style game now, right?
Yes.
That's kind of the direction they wanted to go with the multiplayer online, because that's the direction that the gaming industry has kind of gone, where it's like online multiplayer shooters are generally these live service games where they're adding updates and stuff over a period of time. They're adding new seasons, battle passes, that kind of thing. So that's what Halo is doing now with Halo Infinite. But I played the campaign and beat the campaign on Halo Infinite as well. So I could not tell you much about the plot.
Because it's not free.
Now,
but the multiplayer
in the last couple ones I remember of like the 4 or 3, I think, like he like John Spartan like dies at the end. I know that's not like permanent, right? But like, is the story, I guess, still like, it is still just one story? Halo Infinite continues the rest. Narrative they've got going.
Yeah, I think Cortana is like dead in this game, or like was destroyed, but he's hearing like flashbacks of her talking to him.
The Halo
at one point.
at
some point, and like becomes integrated.
Maybe download into the entire planet.
I'll be honest with you, there's a lot I don't understand about the plot of Halo games, because I usually don't always pay attention as much as I should when I'm playing the campaign or whatever. I'm just like, all right, take me to the next arena where I can blast some aliens.
So this is my final thought, is to say that, Jacob, exactly what you just said, I think marketing executives, CEOs at Paramount or CBS as well, or whatever, whoever makes this, and my father fall for the same trap, which is they go like, oh, Halo, kids know what that is. Kids like Halo. Where it's like, you can't pin us down on what we like about Halo, or be like, well, obviously you know the whole world of it, then explain all the intricate details to me, Colin, of Halo. I would never be able to do that. But I would defend to the death to people that I do like Halo. And what I'm talking about is basically liking 3 games I played when I was a child. So what's hard to capture from that is to turn that into anything else consumable. And that's just the beast of capitalism is chasing that.
What you like about it probably is the gameplay, which is the hardest thing to adapt into.
Well, what I like about it is the memories of coming home after school and playing a video game with my friends, honestly.
You guys ever make a highlight reel to some rock and roll music in your day? I did.
I just think the plot of those games is not as strong as the gameplay.
I think you're
Maybe some people.
It. There's a lot of people who really enjoy the plots.
I'm sure there are.
Well, because it's like Master Chief destroys Halo. That gets the Arbiter in trouble because you were supposed to be in charge, dude. So now you're fucked and cast out. And then the Floods show up. So Master Chief and Arbiter have to work together because that's a greater foe that's threatening everybody. Like, there is stuff there.
Oh, yeah.
But isn't the Arbiter turns against the Covenant, though? And
because he finds out they're false prophets. Their government's lying too, right? So it's
so he's got to redo the whole thing.
I don't know. I'll say for my final thoughts,
might not stick for everybody.
I'll piss off all the fans of Halo and say that everything that the show has changed about the story is good and is better than the game.
Wow. The people who
let's
read
say
it's
fine. Let's not say it's good. Let's say it's fine.
There's some changes that I think are bad, but I do think the helmet thing, the whole helmet debate, I think he should take the helmet off. Let him take the helmet off. So he still keeps it on when he's fighting during the missions. I think it makes sense when he takes it off. So, screw you, nerds. That's what I'll say.
Fair enough.
I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, nerds.
Honest to God, is there anything in the lore like Mandalorian where they're like, it's a religion, you can't see my face? No, it's just a
he's just a
stylistic
soldier.
choice to not show his face in those first couple of games, right? So there's no reason.
And when you
not.
play the games, you're always on a mission when you're playing. So
It's first person POV too. You never look in a mirror and you're like, oh, hey, I'm looking good. Okay.
You're never not spending time in a combat zone, even if you're on a ship traveling.
I don't think I don't think there's a rule in the game that he can never take the helmet off. He just never has.
The devs just never have revealed it to show what he looked like. And there was a long time when they were doing the movie that they were alleging it was going to be Denzel, and I'm like, I'm here for that too.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That was an early rumor that we were going to get.
That's cool.
So,
yeah, but I think the thing is, a video game adaptation came out last year that kind of figure out how to adapt a video game, which is just actually adapt the video game, right? And that was called The Last of Us.
Right. Why is this having none of that DNA?
I bet you were building up to say Super Mario Brothers. I was really with you. I was like,
No, but The Last of Us, they were like, we're literally going to do the story in the game of The Last of Us, and it worked. And people were like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea.
We can see what we need to expand. We can see what we don't need to.
Yeah. The difference is I think that story, it was just so good as a standalone story that it made sense to adapt it that way. Whereas there's some games, again, with Halo...
in The Last of Us.
Hey, but Jacob, again, I argue if I was calling home 2 years ago and saying to my dad, hey, I'm telling you, you need to watch this first season of Halo. We just got to episode 4 and he just unlocked the Halo and the Flood are coming out. So he's not killing aliens anymore. It's now a zombie narrative. I think people would have been interested. I think my dad would have been like, that sounds cool.
The original, following the game template, just briefly, would have been a show about exploring and discovering what the fuck the Halo is, what it does, and it's basically just Chief and Cortana, and she's kind of have her hologram show up. But that's how that would function, is an Alien Covenant kind of vibe, or Prometheus.
It's a very different kind of show.
It'd be like Prometheus or something.
SEAL Team 6. Yeah, it's like Prometheus. You're totally that's what a Halo would be.
Yeah, clearly they were like, we want to expand the world building and have all these different factions of humans, and
we want to
show all these different military people.
Well, it should be about how farmers are mad at the government, and you're like, right, okay.
It should be about some shady admirals that are trying to do some kind of secret plot within the UNSC.
A character should say, Daddy's got to go to work when he puts on his space pirate outfit. You're like, Halo.
And Master Chief should have sex with a girl that was raised by the Covenant. Yeah.
That's right. It's the first
we
season
love
she's
it.
been around. She's been waiting too.
I'm going to skip around the first season. I've also decided just to find that weird sex.
You've got to see Master Chief.
I think that's episode 8, if that helps you. I think that's episode 8.
Excellent.
So just watch that one.
Good.
All right. Any other predictions for the season 2? What are they gonna frickin' do here?
I guess it's all kind of leading to the plot of the main games.
We'll maybe be right on the cusp of starting Halo 1 at the end of this season, if we're lucky. If we go through the Reach arc, that's the closest we'll be.
Mike, okay,
we need the war to kick off.
Yes. Here's my prediction: is that in a whatcha 10 episodes from now, we will go can you believe I'm so excited that the Halo season 2 finale introduced Guilty Spark, and he send out the signal to come to Halo or whatever.
They had him drive the Jeep. He was driving the Jeep out of there.
Yes, dude. They did the jump. He did the ramp. He fell. He had to restart.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Have we got the music yet? We haven't.
They changed the theme song for the show for season 2. They rewrote it, I think, to sound more like the.
Yes, you can 100% tell a desperate act, because one of the big criticisms of season 1 was you have all this iconic music. Why did you not use it? And
right.
Ooh, you're right.
And there was a cube. In the first season, they start with the line, and then it goes into a different song basically. So you hear the cue, but it doesn't do the full song.
Wow.
Yeah, it's they're hinting at stuff, but then we're doing our own thing. It's kind of the same. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say 400% more dun 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 in the battles, please.
Oh my god! Hey, real quick, what is your guys' favorite level?
Ooh.
I guess Battle Creek right?
Oh, Midship's my favorite. The purple round one.
Midship's good.
Mhm.
100%.
Oh, sure.
Absolutely.
We're
Yeah.
Is it
talking
called the library? Is that what
the
it's
library
called?
is the flood. It was like that's when you first fight
Oh
the flood. I think.
yeah,
That's where
that's
You
maybe
meet
not a
Guilty Spark there
multiplayer one
too.
then, is it?
There's
Yeah.
one that looks like
Right.
that though. That
Are you
triangle.
talking
Okay.
multiplayer levels or
Yeah, I'm talking
campaign
multi.
levels?
I'm talking multi.
Oh yeah, there's so many I like that I can't even remember the names for.
Oh,
I have a trouble
Lockout, the one in
remembering
the
the
snow.
names.
That's that base built into the cliff.
That's a good one.
Oh my
What's
god.
the one with like the square, like the square part in the middle, and there's like 2 buildings on the side? The one that we always play in multiplayer.
Is it
Mike,
snowing?
do you know what I'm talking about? No, but they like
I know
rebuilt
what
it.
you're talking about.
Well, it is
yes.
snowing, I think. Yeah, they rebuilt it
that's
for
Lockout.
for
There's
Halo
like a
Infinite.
top and bottom.
Lockout. That's
Yeah.
a good one. That's a good one.
Lockout. It's the multiple levels with the jumps.
There's
Oh
the
my
jump
god.
pad. Yep. Shotgun in the basement.
And I mean, we did it. We were
Yeah.
all the age where you guys did 4 versus 4, 2 Xbox hooked up to each other, kids in separate rooms screaming. You're drinking Mountain Dews.
Yeah,
All night.
those are the good old days. Things will never be as good as they were in those days.
I
Nostalgia.
I will never be as happy as I was in
No.
Kevin Tuff's basement. It's his birthday.
Eating pizza,
He just
drinking
turned
Mountain Dew.
14. Yeah. And you find out one of your classmates is better or as good at Halo as you kind of predicted. Where
No,
you're
no
like,
one was as good as
oh,
me.
you know what? Scott can fucking bring it. Okay, you know what? Hey, you want to be on red next time? Okay, we could use you over here.
Yeah, you're playing
God,
games. You're
Jesus
playing
Christ.
zombies and shotguns.
You're
and all that
playing
stuff.
zombies. You're
Yeah.
playing.
See, come on. So, I mean, we had our house. My dad had wired it, so all the Ethernet ports were also LAN ports. So we could have separate rooms, Xbox Live, everybody with a full TV, upstairs,
Dude,
downstairs.
what the fuck? Are
It
you
was
kidding?
sick.
That's incredible.
It was so sick. Nobody sharing a screen. It was like
No, the fucking screen looking cheating that we would pull, Mike.
we've
we're
never
not
done
capable
it, but
of
we've
that.
all done it, right?
Yeah. And then I
What
would
were
just
you-
play Halo 3 a lot when I was in high school. After school, every day, I'd be like, go home, play Halo 3 online.
Online, yes.
Yeah.
That broke the wall between the jocks and the nerds. That
It
started it. Call
Yeah.
of Duty finished
It
it. But
100%
Halo 3
did.
started it.
Yes.
Zanzibar's a good map with the big windmill. Just remember that one.
Zanzibar.
I want to play the Master Chief Collection now.
Yeah,
That's what the show did.
there's
It
a
makes me love
very-
Halo iconography.
Yeah.
I might start burning through these campaigns. What was bigger to you guys, Halo or GoldenEye?
Halo.
I feel like that's
younger.
two different eras because
It is, but they
GoldenEye
build
was when I
off
was a
each
little bit
other so
younger.
much. I know, but
Yeah.
like the difference between slappers only, Jacob, and you just saying fucking zombies on lockout or
Yeah.
plasma grenades only, or hey, we're playing King of the Hill, but we're only gonna do energy swords, or whatever. Like,
Shoddy
fuck, man.
snipers.
The difference
Anybody?
is with
Come on.
Yes, no
With
scope.
GoldenEye,
Somebody, Mike.
if you go back and revisit GoldenEye, it is rough. Like
Single
the
stick.
graphics
I'm
are not
sure.
good, the
Yeah.
controls are not
Right.
good. Like
Right.
you forget how bad it looks until you, because like in my memory, it looks better than it actually looks.
They should do a GoldenEye movie.
You know what, Mike?
Yeah, you know what?
I think a Paramount Plus TV show. I think that's a little more
Oh, yeah.
interesting. We need to build that bad boy
It'll be
out.
called No Odd Job. Because he was not allowed to be selected because he was too short.
Cast for the
He's
new
too short.
James Bond.
You couldn't
Who
see him
knows?
if he was right next to you. Just shoot you in
Yeah.
the knees. Yeah, it was not fair.
I think Pablo
Yeah.
was a very popular Wolverine casting, actually. So you know what? He'd be a good James Bond too.
Wolverine
Yeah, there we
casting.
go.
Yeah.
Like if it wasn't Hugh Jackman.
Well, I mean, I think for a long time nobody ever thought there would be a possibility that he would ever come back after Logan.
Oh,
so.
right. That
But
would be
Pablo's
weird
tall,
to
too.
cast
He's-
Saber-toothed brother to play the new Wolverine.
Yeah, that's pretty dumb, actually.
Now we need a short. We need Danny DeVito to be Wolverine. Wolverine's short.
Yeah,
okay?
he's
He needs to be a short
king.
king. I mean, Danny
Yeah.
DeVito probably a little too old at this
Now,
point.
Daniel Radcliffe
People
has
throw
been
out
the pitch.
fucking
Find a
Harry
new short
Potter.
guy. Yeah.
They say
Yeah.
Daniel Radcliffe would be a good one.
Yep.
Daniel Radcliffe.
He can get shredded.
interesting.
I think he'd be good.
Yeah. I'm watching that new season of whatever that fucking Miracle Workers show, but he's like a Mad Max now, and he's got fucking juiced up arms in that show. So
Oh yeah, that's like an anthology where each season is a different.
yeah,
It's a different story, but they're different. The same cast playing different characters, right?
Yeah.
Right. Watch Halo on Paramount Plus.
I guess.
1 and 2 now.
Yeah.
Well, any complaints about the streaming service itself? It didn't fuck up as much as Paramount Plus typically does when I watch it. So that I was impressed by that, actually.
No, it seemed to work okay for me.
I don't like having to learn all the different interfaces. Can we just have kind of unified layout? But no, it's fine. It's fine.
The difference in between the people that do movies, TVs, and however else you're going to sort by the middle opposed to a bar to the left that you can scroll to, I hate that. Let's unify and decide whatever we're going to do across all of them.
Yeah, I hate what Max is like now because it's like I'm looking for movies and they have all this reality TV junk and stuff, and it's like clogging up my searches and stuff. And then, like you said, the movies and TV above, and then different things on the side. It's just
they switch. They used to be to the left. Now they do the Paramount thing, Jacob, where it's in the middle, and I can't find it every time.
We need a lobby. We figured out gas, pedals and like a standardization. We need to standardize streaming UI. If we're gonna have a million of them, come on.
Max is just the funniest to me because of all the content they have on there now. It's like, oh, do you want to watch The Sopranos or do you want to watch Flip This House or whatever?
Yeah, Babysitter Murders.
Next to all these like prestige HBO shows. It's just very funny to me.
Yeah.
David Zaslav, I'm not going to say what I want to
see in hell.
Spartan you.
I will be implicated.
Yeah, well, I heard he got bit by the flood, so no big deal.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's kind of our final thoughts here on Halo, unless anybody else has anything else to say.
I think I just want to play Halo now. Like, let me go.
It's the big sell.
Knockout. Yeah.
I just want to rewatch The Expanse.
Halo.
Because I know we made the joke about whatever the future of Microsoft is up top or whatever. But 343 or who is the company that makes? They no longer exist anymore, right?
Well, it was Bungie.
It was Bungie,
and then they became 343, which is only a company that only operated around
Halo
games, basically. Yeah.
All the project leads for Halo Infinite either got fired or moved on. 343 still is kind of a thing, but it's not.
That's just the video game.
All the people who work there, nobody is left over.
Current,
from the Halo
and the people from Bungie make Destiny now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Destiny.
And none of us play anything like that, right? Jacob, I think a lot about you in the Rebel Moons episodes, like that thing about like, there's a wizard on the moon. Or
yeah, Peter Dinklage.
Well, their monetization got away
always
from
looked
them.
like off-brand Halo to me.
It really did.
It's the company that made Halo. It is Bungie. It's the original creators like Halo.
Yeah.
They split from Microsoft, and they're like, we don't fuck Halo. We're gonna make our own IP now. It's called Destiny.
And it's basically Halo.
What is it? It's Halo. And you're like, oh, okay,
cool.
But no, our friend Leroy plays that game, right? He's a
but he's forsaken it because the monetization got too greedy. A lot of people are abandoning Destiny 2 because they got too greedy. They dug too deep. Drums in the dark. So
whenever I read that a video game is based around the events, the annual events that release or whatever around it, then I'm like, that game's not for me.
Well, that's the thing with the state of the video game industry. If we're going to get into this in this podcast, but every company wants to make a live service game because of games like Fortnite that are so popular and so sustainable. But the problem is, live service games rely on the fact that their core fan base only plays that game exclusively because that's how they survive.
Right.
In the video gaming industry as a whole can only support like 6 of those games at once.
Yeah, the pie's not big enough.
Right. So every company trying to, like, they're doing now with this Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, which is a live service game that like nobody's going to want to play in like 6 months, and it's going to be abandoned. And that's what's happening. That's what happened kind of with Halo Infinite, although they're still strangely going and releasing new battle passes and stuff for that.
Square Enix's Avengers was that way, Jacob.
Yeah. And it's like they don't learn. And like
kids like this.
Yeah, I was reading a report of like every company now has like a live service game in development because they're not learning their lessons that it's like it's not a sustainable thing. So
no, and then we lay off all the devs because we made a stupid fucking idea.
Yeah,
and then we bring in new people. And
the video game industry is a mess right now. Like every day I'm reading like, oh, Activision laid off 1,000 people. Oh, this company laid off a bunch of people. It's a really sad state of affairs right now. So
it's a late stage of capitalism. So support Paramount and their Halo television show. And
well, did you guys hear that they're using the AI Cortana to make the next Halo game? But she can't get the number of fingers right. She keeps giving Master Chief like 8 fingers.
I still can't.
Should we also point out Microsoft called their AI Cortana after Cortana?
Their assistant,
their Siri.
Cortana.
It is their Siri. That is so weird.
Yeah,
it is.
Well, because Halo is
is
so integral to Microsoft because it was the system seller that made Xbox, basically. That
you guys know it was an Apple game, right? And that Steve Jobs sold it to Microsoft.
Oh yes.
Bungie was making. They made Marathon first on Mac. They were developing it for Windows or Mac, and then they were like, just take it. And that's.
But again, the current state of affairs with Xbox is that they're doing so badly in sales compared to PlayStation that they're like, you know what? Fuck it. We're not doing Xbox anymore.
We might be done. We might be wrapping this. We might become this little company called Sega, where we just kind of like own the things that we own, and we're happy about that.
License it to everybody. I mean, I play on PC, so I've been using a PS5 controller anyway. But man, that's weird.
That's wild, Mike. That's so weird.
The Xbox 360 controller is still probably the best one for a first-person shooter. Like the layout with the asymmetrical sticks. I wish I could have a PS controller with asymmetrical sticks.
That is so freaky. You guys are using PS5 controllers to play Halo on your computers.
When our friend Adam, when I told him that, he was like, that is sacrilege. You're playing Halo with a PS5 controller.
If it's Nerd Hour, I got a PS4 controller with swappable joysticks. Man.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's wild.
It's a PS4 controller with a PS1 D-pad, PS2 face buttons, and PS3 shoulder.
That's insane.
Made this. Anyway, I'm a nerd.
Look, while we're talking about video games,
I
just want to say they're announcing all these Sony exclusives coming to PC, like the Spider-Man games, obviously, and Horizon Zero Dawn is playable on PC. Of course, they're going to bring Horizon Forbidden West to PC next. Where's the Bloodborne PC port? I've been waiting for it for years.
The remaster. It's truly shocking what they will remaster.
FPS.
But Bloodborne,
no,
come on, you motherfuckers.
Seriously, they're remastering The Last of Us Part 2, a game that came out in the year 2020.
Yeah, we gotta fix it.
That does not need a remaster. We gotta fix it.
Yeah,
graphics have not improved enough in the 4 years since that game came out for it to need a remaster. You know what does need a remaster? Freaking Bloodborne.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So Bloodborne fans, we're not happy.
I throw out one last thing. Do you guys know if you buy a Lego Xbox 360 kit right now, it comes with a Lego Halo 3 game case that you put together with it?
No way.
No.
That's how they're trying to get it?
It's pretty wild
for me.
Maybe they'll be on Lego Fortnite Halo style.
Oh yeah, Master Chief from Fortnite. I could just play that instead.
Well, well, we've gotten a little off topic, but I think the key lesson is
they are.
Halo's a great show.
Fucking Arbiter would be cool as hell to play as in Fortnite.
Yo.
Yeah.
Put Arbiter in Halo Infinite, you fucking cowards. I always played as the Covenant. I always played Covenant.
I remember you guys saying you can't do that. That really blows my mind.
They could sell so
much
more
I guess they wanted more standardized because everyone is the same size rather than having a different model for the elite. Yeah.
But I liked it because
you can make elites the same
size.
Playing
on hard mode.
Yeah. Right.
Oh,
well. Yeah, they should add. You know what though? Arbiter in Fortnite. That's something that should happen.
That's a great idea.
I mean, I have the Xenomorph in Fortnite.
Man, okay. Here's a fucking squad: Doom guy, fucking John Spartan, fucking
Arbiter.
who? Well, who else are the leaders of like badass? I don't know, like Duke Nukem.
Oh my god!
Oh shit!
John Wick.
Yeah.
John Wick.
No. I'm saying video games.
Yeah.
God of War was Kratos running around.
Yeah, Kratos. Yeah, Kratos would be another. That squad, you'd be like, oh, it's the fucking douchebags.
The Giga Chads.
Yeah, the Chads.
Shredder. I have Shredder now. So
Shredder.
That's the big TMNT thing. So
Shredder.
Anyways, we should.
This has been fun. We've been a little in the weeds, but
I had fun though. This was like my follow-up segments. We're just talking about anything Halo oriented. Write into us at Normies _like_us because I want to know, our median listeners here, Were you doing LAN parties? Were you? What age are you? Were you like? Oh, my
If you're
older
like 5 to
brother
10
did
years
those. Yeah.
younger than us, you probably
I
don't
was
even know
like
what that is.
5.
Yeah.
My parents would rent me a movie on Netflix while my brother would do that. That will blow my mind. Go ahead and write to us and say that stuff. I'd like to hear that.
You ever carry a CRT TV like
Yeah,
outside of your house to move
to
it?
a fucking another room, Mike.
Right.
Yeah, where you had to do so much early science.
Just put it in your car and drive across town to Billy's house for the weekend. No, crazy. Never did it for PCs, but let us know.
Here's the last thing I'll say is the last video game I ever LANed was in college. I brought my 360 over to Joe's house and we put our 360s and 2 TVs next to each other so we could play co-op Dead Rising 2 together. And that was the last LAN I ever did. Yeah.
That's fun. I like Dead Rising 1 and 2.
I remember you and Joe would team up with 2 of our other friends from college. Well, 2 guys named, I think, Alex and Luke.
That's right.
And you guys would play what was that fucking game? Was that Dead Rising or Left 4 Dead?
Left 4 Dead. I almost called it Hunter 4 Dead. Yeah, Left 4 Dead. Fucking yeah, dude. Fucking that shit. But even just us doing 2v2 and Halo, dude, and like you coming over and being like, yo, I got next game. Like I've got so many fucking memories like that.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
I'm going to get you the Master Chief collection.
Good times.
You could be covered in that one. Anyways.
Yeah.
Look at this Halo show, making us feel nostalgic, thinking about the good old days. Thanks,
I
John
have all
Spartan.
those suits in Halo Infinite too, by the way. Those
Noble Team
Reach suits. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say you had them in Fortnite.
No, I wish, but
right.
You can get the
You
different
really
cores
see
in
the
Infinite.
destiny in it. Like it's all I can see now.
Yeah.
It was they were destined.
They were destined.
The skull guy's cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, normies, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching Halo on Paramount Plus. I know you're loving it. Like
Watch
I am.
along with us on YouTube. We appreciate that.
Please. Yes.
Otherwise, we have been your hosts. I'm going to be the call arbiter.
I'm still the Mikester Chief.
And this is Kabtana.
I guess it's time to finish that podcast.
That's right.
I need an outro.
It's okay, Chief. I'll help you. It's me, Kabtana.
Chief.
Thanks. I love you.
Chief, no.
What?
Bye.
Fucking guilty, Spark. Get out of here.
Bye.
Bye.